defense being tested. As the barriers are already up and the aggression coming out, utility throw, putting pressure on these FPX members caught behind the box. They'll try to use their wave to get on out of there. Munchkin's picked up 2 in the meantime and still fighting while his teammates come to support. And that...
Nichao just going to go with light shields. Interesting. It's not an investment you see very often, just light shields and nothing else, but I'm curious, I'll put it that way. I guess if they get a gun, it's being given to him.
Well, I suppose that's the assumption. Yeah, 25 extra health. Ooh.
Don't worry, Sean will explain this to us when we get back to the desk at the halftime. It's fine.
I see him writing notes right now, scribbling frantically. He might even have a telestrator segment on it. Well, let's see if the success will be found by FPX with this trendy investment. Immediately, you know, they're putting some pressure towards A. They've got their wall there, but T1 know what's going on. They're up close, both on A and on C. You definitely get a sense that this squad likes to get aggressive. The pistol round, I guess, gave it away more than anything. In the end, conventional takeover B. Alarm bot takes contact. Actually, not even. Preemptive strike. And that's got Berlin.
Oh, yeah, this is looking like a slaughter already. Lysor being able to find one somehow. They managed to make this one look a little bit more competitive. They should be able to clear things out. Ban left low and a chance.
Smelling the roses. T1 don't have the opportunity to play a nice free round where they've got rifles and the ability to fight. That was so close. Can you imagine? There's weaknesses here for FBX to exploit. See if they can reap the rewards, the seeds they planted just moments ago.
Yuiko already waiting up top. Looking to try and find a little bit of early aggression. They were wary of it. Like in the prior round, we saw in the pistol how aggressive T1 were willing to be, and that's something that FPX are definitely going to have to think about. For now, though, just patiently taking map control. They have a lot of utility to be able to play with off the back of the harbor to sort of section off portions of the map, and for the defenders, Ban has taken a little bit of map control, so they've been able to gamble that little bit more, even pushing up on B as well. They have taken a lot of space. They kind of know at this stage that they almost have to be locked in towards that C side of the map, but they are going to start wrapping back around and pressuring elsewhere.
Yeah, I do wonder if they've spotted, you know, you hear that turret when you get a little bit closer, Snakebite comes down. Now you know, first of all, it's a trap play with 2 incredibly good sight defenders. FPX are making the right call, looking elsewhere, and it's Saya player to be dropped first. That's the big rifle out of the round now for T1. Look back to the Bulldogs on Munchkin, who's already taken a lot of damage. Carpe pushed out of the site, and B is most certainly taken late lurk from Nichao as well. Great potential for this squad, and because it's the wingman planting, when they go through to try and take advantage of the numbers, well, anything but ends up occurring.
That's across the board.
Yeah, this will be a much more grounded full buy round. The real meat of the game about to come into play. Now we've seen T1's aggression time and time again. Over on C and A in that second round, even up against the Pistols, they were willing to do it. It's denied by some early utility, and the follow-up. It seems FBX will be gaining control over Mound for now, but they're leaving their options open. A lurk around B, player as well, sat on A, waiting for the aggression to come through, and even an alarm bot if they decide to rotate. Plenty of options for them in the late round.
Again, just taking their time, collecting those orbs that are about to be under some pressure. The Mosh used to try and clear out some space. Normally there's a bit of an execution off the back of it, though. Turret destroyed for Sire as he looks to get aggressive, but again, just waiting outside this C site. The high tide through to block up a lot of angles, but there's 3 players ready and waiting.
Oh, nice seize. It's gone through, and it's caught some players. They're able to sneak up behind the walls, and Carpe and Munchkin both falling. Puts a lot of pressure on Zeta to deliver, and he's out. Giving up the site and playing for the retake. It's definitely the smart call. They'd love to grab a pick along the way, but that one cost them so much more as they crumble.
It just comes down to the late round execution, and that's actually where FPX have been fantastic so far. Berlin, Lysor getting those initial entries, and then Aya, well, we've already leveling things up. Weaponry somewhat of a minimum, and okay, you do have yourself a lockdown on the side of Munchkin, but unless they get into a very good position, I have no expectation of him using this.
Yeah, not in a round like this, although considering the damage FPX were able to do with Classics in hand just moments ago, you have to wonder. And we haven't really seen FPX use Nichao's wall to get control over A. Constantly, T1 have been getting aggressive and holding these tighter corners, keeping them back, and even back from where they are now, stuck inside the choke point. So good ground being claimed here, and they're certainly finding the lighter side of the map where T1 are not really defending it as steadfast. That wall should be easy to bypass. Zeta doesn't have a ton of utility, really. We're looking at Carpe. He's found the information at least, but following up on it's going to be a different story altogether.
Yeah, Reckoning is going to make it so there's very little they can do in terms of holding. Little Bro just about going to be able to get the spike plant in. Snakebite used to try and deter. How dare they, for starters, but more so, it's not actually going to work out. And they have used the lockdown. I am surprised by this. Trying to force them back, maybe expecting to get a little bit more in this round than we did, but it's so passive anyway from their opponents, it doesn't make that much of a difference.
Well, they've at least got that orb up. I mean, they're blocking off the sidelines for sure, trying to section off UCall, but he is taking them all out.
Especially on the site they were on, which is A, where you can have these very passive positions to actually play in the afterplant. Like, okay, maybe if they did, there was an ult in the form of Thrash, which would have denied them anyway.
Yeah, it's a really tough one. Look at this entry right away. Showstopper used, and he's almost paid a hefty price for that control. And, you know, there was no one here. They were playing the retake around B. Now it's time to retake. Showstopper through. No one found. Halfway already, but the blast pack will get him up close. The shot is good. Berlin down, and Aya left on 15 HP. He'll be cleaned up quickly, you'd imagine. Has to be the last man standing, denying that defuse, and not a hope in. Locked and loaded on that one. I like the more direct approach. When you come in with ultis like that, sometimes it's worth just committing them at the start of the round.
Do it in the last round. It's something you do worry if the rest of the team doesn't sort of step up alongside him. If they can keep that going forward, and no surprise to see back to the slow pace for FPX, but you look at T1, already fully pushed in through C. Now the Boombot, in theory, should give that one away, as they've taken such a ridiculous amount of control, and Lysor is already waiting. The turret with contact should mean that he immediately turns around, and so does the rest of the team.
Maybe even tucks into that corner. Oh, there's the smoke up. He knows now. Great position. They're clearing it, but the first player down. Now they can react. Ban on the trade. The rotation seeming to come through from Munchkin. Gonna leave Ban to make this play by himself. Zeta shutting down too. That is absolutely huge. The FPX have stopped completely, and the flank is now coming through. Desperation from Aya as he looks to bring the spike elsewhere and hopefully grab a plant. I don't know how much that's gonna help them.
Putting this into a 2v4, but on the B site, a spot that's very difficult to hold from. A little bit of a dicey fight, but it is going to be Ban to win it. And now Aya left. I don't think he even knows that Munchkin's about to come around this corner. The drop down spotted, but Munchkin just playing this so safe. He actually goes peek it back out, though, a chance, but not this time. See this sort of level of aggression against a team that doesn't have like a lurker or a sentinel. They're doing it against the Killjoy, who's literally waiting for them. But just being able to take away such map control while the rest of FPX is grouping up.
You're expecting Gecko pop up that flash, but hold on, there's the up right away! And UConn's able to win that battle. We hyped it up, him against Saya player, both picking up the operator, but Ban has recovered it from his teammate's corpse. Found the pick. They still have Munchkin up close, so Ban can't afford to back off. He has to stay here, at least for now, unless they decide to give up the position, which does seem to be the call. Whoops. Munchkin got caught on the wall, but he's made it out. Now they're looking to bolster down at least their B defense for the time being. A shift to the right side of the map is the correct call for T1, because that's where FPX are going.
Just taking, again, that slower approach. These are the rounds where FPX have been able to really get themselves their attack rounds onto the board. Of course, fairly high expectation for the attack to be heavier sided, so for T1 to be off to a strong start is a great position to be in. Again, Viper's Pit actually going to be thrown out as they look to late take into the B side. Ban, I don't think he's going to be able to get much from here with the operator, and it's going to have to be that full-on retake once again.
Yukaw's gone hunting as well. Just look at his position, propped up on the boxes. That's a great angle that they're not expecting. And even as Ban tried to clear it, he couldn't quite get there on time. The op certainly being a saving grace for FPX so far. Nichao with a challenge, and it's just about corrected in time. Starting to get scary. That stun couldn't be better. Munchkin's out. Surely not going to commit to this with an operator at his feet. He hopes to save it to the next round, but the spike, although it's ticking fast, there's still some time if they wanted to hunt him down. Aya has popped a flash. That's being heard. Munchkin knows there's someone hunting him, someone coming through the spawn. He could hightail it out of here, move towards the attacker spawn even, but well, he's hunkering down. It looks like they've given up, not wanting to lose any more weapons.
They tried to set a trap on A, pushed them into the B site, and then didn't have anybody there on the B site to actually catch them. It was a bit of a weird round. Like you set up almost in that scenario. If you have 2 on A, I'd want one of the A site players to rotate away. Those sort of quick, concise calls to get themselves back into position. FPX leveling up once more and a bit more aggression. That's not gone well. Nichao with a free opener, looking for more. Ban somewhat caught him no man's land, but the paranoia, well, it not only gets him, I was going to say it could have got him out of there, but he doesn't leave. In fact, his opponents completely fall off, and he still holds onto the angle.
Yeah, he actually held the angle while setting up that smoke the whole time, just making sure no one snuck out. This is a man confident in holding this spot. We've seen T1 consistently get aggressive around this position, and it's something most teams will do. You always want to compete for rubble. But Ban is taking it to another level, still being here this late into the round. And FPX do intend to take it towards him. Flash is back online for Aya. Have some cascading utility to make their way out. And all that util's falling on nothing because Ban fell back. A great sense of when to give up the control. The question is, will a rotate come in on time? Ban could be under a lot of pressure.
And just using the one-way smoke to try and deter players from going back into this A site through the double doors. Zeta realizing he has to try and help out his teammate a little bit, but the Cove is almost going to lock him out completely. And Aya with a solid entry. No chance for Zeta to make a play. And you look at the remainder, well, almost just diving in for risky plays on the side of T1, and FPX are more than prepared, just waiting for players to make a mistake. Saya's going to get himself an exit frag at this stage, but well, I don't see him going for this 1v3.
I love FPX's ideas late into the round. Like, we've seen these adaptations before, but pumping the brakes, going for some control over A main, and then they acknowledge where both those players are. They're able to isolate the fights. And you saw from both Zeta and Ban just overwhelmed as they peeked out into heavy traffic, 3 targets each. Post plant from FPX, not trying to hunt down again. But it doesn't matter to them by the looks of it. They've allowed the op to be saved a couple of times, and they're avoiding it pretty much every time.
Yeah, and one of the things, fantastic standard off the start. Now going to see if he can keep this up throughout the match. Operator going to be handed over to Berlin. Maybe the expectation there is that Uicor is going to be taking that entry point. And on the side of T1, they've actually stacked into this A side. Bear in mind, weaponry is weak. They've got that operator and elsewhere just having pistols. We'll see if they can make something work.
T1 have a lot of players here. FPX have gone a couple times back in towards B. That might be the right call. No way for them to know that right now. They have a lurker outside of B as well, but just look at that. You can see Lysor pulling back, moving towards this A play. They're going to go into the stack. T1 primed and ready for this play. They haven't got the ultis to back it up, but over on FPX, they most certainly do. Thrash on his way, destroyed out in the open immediately. Zeta's position given up. They still want to commit to it, but this is where the pistols can be most dangerous already. Yuka is going to be taken down. So too is Wingman, but a good trade as Aya at least keeps this alive on their squad. Nice and comfortable with the plant coming through. And it's a 2 versus 4 that really doesn't look to be going anywhere.
Yeah, just farming up some of those eco frags for Aya in the end. I do like the fact that they're using that Reckoning basically in low purchase rounds for their opponents. It severely reduces the risk. Like, even if you know you're walking into a somewhat stacked site, those players are going to be ducking and weaving, and with the sheriffs, it's not going to be the best way that you're going to be playing the game. So just having that easy around, making sure you can convert cleanly. And you look at the finances over on FPX, they are thriving as of right now. And for Cyberplay, I'll be honest, he's been out of the game. I haven't seen anything really from him at the moment. It's just holding on to that operator. Jane time coming through once again for him, as he just hasn't really seen any action so far.
Give them an injection of rounds. They stumbled a little bit afterwards, as is expected. Round 3, the 4th being a close competition, the 5th being a walkover. But then it was a little bit of a resurgence, and you start to feel players from T1 here. And the same thing can be said for FPX. There'll be some fake posturing on this A site, and we'll see what the response is. If you're T1, you're seeing this wall come up, you're assuming there's control over Rubble now for FPX and that they're getting nice and aggressive. With 3 players on C and no contact seen, you do have to rotate eventually. But this is all a bait. Zeta up close. You even have the turret there. They shouldn't expect ban, and the flash has not caught him. This could be huge. The smoke saving his bacon. If they come around this corner, it's very unlikely they decide to check this spot, especially with Zeta popping off, making noise. Ooh. Although he has just started to fall back.
Yeah, the patience might just be rewarded. It almost comes down to how much can they get, and that Dizzy's going to be going through again, this time forced to retreat. So the same as before, like FPX are being methodical in their play. Man sent through as well just to clear any of the close corners, and they're just doing this almost for orb control. Faking out the space. 4 players currently on this side of the map, and the one on the other side, Carpe, has just been decimated by the operator. Now they start hightailing it back towards the A site. The decision's still yet to be made. FPX leaving this one very late and deep, but if they get into a post plant with that Viper's Pit, it's trouble for T1.
There was 20 seconds on the clock, and they still haven't made their way towards the site. But finally, that decision is made. They've baited out the rotates to B, controlled this game entirely so far. Like, this round has been theirs
used on A.
all over. And yeah, they're only realizing now that this is a problem after they burned up their lockdown. FPX are set up with a Viper's Pit with players inside with utility at plenty. Given the snake bite online for Nichao late round, and okay.
Nice shot.
Yuka is going to be caught. That's a big pick. Aya, if he overextends there, that angle's being watched, but he'll catch more than enough. 2 quick kills. Berlin following up, even saving an operator for himself. You can start to think this round is over. T1 looking for a save.
Nah, the calling again from FPX has just been sublime. The amount of times they have walked into this B site and there has been no one there, just off some fake execution being thrown in towards A. They get the opener, and then every single time you just basically see the Gecko utility just high degree, and then they get a free post plant. Nobody on the B site, not a single player aware that they could be setting up on this side of the map, and they haven't even come close in the retakes. Even you,
fantastic, baiting out the C rotations. There were 3 players there. Ended up with 1. They still flash it to clear. They move back towards A, sell an A fake perfectly, finish on B that's wide open. There's been next to nothing that T1 could do. They've been trying in the early round, but it's like FPX are reading from the same strat book so far. As we move on in to round number 12, the final one, T1's aggression is going to be displayed yet again on this defensive side. Pushed up on A, 3 players on Rubble. They won't give up this control this round. But where do they go from here? They've spotted there's a player behind that wall. They know that. But Nichao is patient, allowing them to make a move while his teammates work out the rest of the map.
I like the change from Team Paranoia. Going to play that a little bit more aggressive. The Paranoia is going to do the work, but it's whether or not the rest of the team are going to start making a play on the other side of the map and how much time can actually be bought. Thrash sent through is going to garner them an extra little bit of information, and it's only going to be the 1-for-1 trade. Nichao gone, but again, it's the same. They sell a ruse. The only problem, though, is the spike. The spike's facing back into the spawn. 28 seconds left is dropped on the deck. A mistake made by the side of FPX. They have to go back and retrieve this. And in the meantime, T1 can start re-aggressing. A 1-for-1 trade, 15 seconds. They have to go running into this B site, but they're going to use that showstopper. That will grant them the space that they need to get into this plant.
It's something. Operator as well. This could be beautiful for FPX to still manage, even after those fumbles earlier on in the round, to close this out. An 8-4 scoreline will be huge. The timing is key, and Munchkin's won it, leaving just Berlin all alone He'll use his waves to try and block off their sight lines, but they'll be through that in just a moment's time. Low HP on one, but neither will fall.
Purely just the mistake from Aya, like maybe not realizing that they'd given up that much control. If he goes through the doors, they get that plant free, it's a lot easier, but it definitely wasn't good signs in this half for T1. They managed to
shoot them up into the lead.
Well, that's the thing. They lost the pistol in that last half and still managed to come out with the victory. And they probably should have made it even more dominant as well. So they're definitely in a good position for this one. But we'll see if they can take the second pistol. Great start for Berlin. Look at the damage that's already been done as well. Players tagged behind as they look to enter the site. It is a slaughter! Lysor puts the entirety of that execution down, and now Zeta looking to try and get the ace. Little bro going to be helping out as Lysor.
And more weight rather than just a number on the board. Instead, they get to follow up round 2 up against what should be next to nothing. Just look at that. Made it look like a fully automatic weapon. 4 kills.
They would have liked. Decent investment from him as well. Lysor going to go for the rifle in this one, just wanting to make sure there's no real risk of damage being done. Looking like more of the same potentially for the side of T1, but it could just be a goal of farming up some early orbs. You're also seeing the High Tide used very deep on the seaside, almost just to shroud out information. Almost make it more awkward for T1 to really find anything. And as expected, a very passive hold coming out from FPX. They don't really want to take any risks in this round, put any map pressure onto their opponents, and to play through the door. Yuiko is going to have to fall back a little bit here. Just play passive while the orbs are farmed up.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at all these positions that FPX are occupying, there's nowhere that they can really be isolated, that T1 can force a 1-versus-1 fight or an XV1 fight without them being able to take that pot shot and then fall right back afterwards. That smoke might complicate things slightly, but T1 are not going towards C, hoping that the utility they put down and the presence made will cause a bit of a panic, a bit of an over-rotation. That has not happened. Nichao, the first sign that this defense is still standing strong on the A site, but he'll fall. Nade is good, forcing Lysor to the back site. Not a great position if those pistols get up close. They're going for the wide shots though, and that is perfect for Lysor. 2 kills, plan to come through. Players here, but denying that's hard. Through the box, instead, gonna try to just keep that planter stuck in there. Ban used his teleport to get out of there, but they've spotted him. They know exactly where he is with a bulldog in hand. Nice shot. The first found, dodging the nade now. Paranoia's giving him some space. He's walked out, but they've got 2 different angles.
Also, it's not the most loss, but definitely a little bit more expensive than they probably would have liked. And now with their opponents going to be coming back in with a buy, this is really where you need to see T1 actually stepping up to the plate.
For this round.
Yeah.
FPX chance in full force, but you look at what they've got to work with. There's some weaknesses there. It's an uphill battle for this defensive side, although not necessarily a round that I would chalk up to just damage. They definitely have the potential to fight for this. 2 bulldogs, a rifle on Lysor, 1 away from having their lockdown online as well. But for T1, they're the squad that get a little bit of easier access onto these orbs. Pretty close to a showstopper on Saya player, but probably want to just leverage their weaponry advantage in this round.
Bring them down.
How passive they are on B.
It's looking like a full B retake. Just expecting there to be pressure put elsewhere.
Is that to do with the lockdown, maybe?
Being taken. Potentially. They don't have it online just yet, but maybe expecting to get a kill on the way. Definitely one of the easiest sites to retake. Nice shot, though, by Munchkin and Saya. Solid start to this round. Nade to deny any further aggression, and the A site completely under their control, managing to avoid any of that initial aggression. And similarly to their opponents, just baiting in those initial takes and then forcing rotations from FPX.
Yeah, the sad thing being, you've lost your rifle, your real rifle here. You can see the Bulldogs coming through for a retake. But now the question does turn to damage. How much?
How many did they get, Mitch? Go on, call it.
I'm going to say 3. Although, I'm looking at T1, very nicely grouped up. Looks like they'll be able to trade almost any kill. There's no one out of position. And
3 is optimistic.
I think that might have been Carpe's 2nd kill of the game so far. That was incredibly crispy. followed through. A Yukon falling, and okay, a bit of panic here. Oh, the showstopper! That's huge. Honestly, you're gonna Carpe tripled his kills, yeah.
Yeah, a bit of a shaky finish to what was a good round from T1, I'd say. But I guess for them, not wanting any spice to come through anything.
More likely it was just sheer panic, like they could be defusing. How far is it diffused already? Is he sticking it inside that cove? And then you're gonna swing one by one, maybe he kills you all. It's just easier to throw that away, especially when you've got other ultis coming online.
This is a bit of a pace
near
change.
Future. Yeah, very quick indeed. Saya players already taken down Nichao, and the reinforcements will be late to A. Way too late, in fact, because with Lysor down, that plant is uncontested.
Yeah, well, with Sire on the defensive side, you have the ability to avoid him. That was one of the things that happened a lot in that first half. He was sat there saving an operator, but not this time. Double entry. Good to see him starting to step up to the plate, and unfortunately for FPX, it almost looks like it has to just be the save. The instantaneous start to this round. It was mentioned in the video with Yuko that like they expect this sort of mix of explosiveness out from T1. I think this is exactly what he's talking about. Just a complete change of pace to what we've seen so far, and already getting themselves within arm's reach of their opponents. The fact is, though, financially, T1 in a spot where they can afford to lose a couple of weapons if they really wanted to. Maybe try and hunt down some of these players, but they're not risking it. Round and, well, 8 players are going to be alive at the end of it.
I don't mind when we see such a passive call, especially when
have that lockdown available to them if they want to try and go for the retake.
Yeah, the potential is there for late round, and I think so far FPX have been put in those positions of having to retake. T1's aggression being rewarded time and time again. And this time, it's Yuka alongside Aya who are going to be challenged, both on the C side. T1 have well, they do have a bit of control going out there for Zeta. Like, he is swinging around Rubble. He's got his wall to play around as well. And if he gets enough space, they might start to think about coming back. Even the door opened here, like, there's a ton of presence being feigned. And I don't think they're rotating back to A. I think they're just hiding from utility, knowing that there would be a flash online soon, knowing that FPX would seek them out. And because they've avoided all of that intel gathering utility, they might go for a swing like that, and they've almost lost UCOD to it. That was T1's trigger point. They're rushing the site, and it looks like all control will be theirs, even catching Aya on the way back.
Yeah, another Saya player entry, and I believe at least the rifle might be able to be handed over to a teammate, but look at him go. Saya player just starting to take over. Unicorn, those just come out of nowhere. The side swipe, not expected. The aggressive position, it's these Razors going head-to-head to try and take over this round. The time, not even that far gone, still an opportunity for him to win this one out. Still going strong, leaving it all onto Zeta. He's playing that post plant, knows exactly where he is. The ace potential, but it's so far back, and Zeta's still just sitting, but he's not landing the shots. It's already being diffused. Just look at it, try and get it all the way, but Zeta!
That would have been a different result. So close in the end as well.
Yeah.
Fair play to Nichao for just sticking it underneath.
That's the thing, a Red Bull clutch needed just to get through a round where everybody's face was the same when he manages to get that quad kill, but luckily, Zeta holds on. And now we have the buy, that's the thing. Yuiko is not going to have the rifle anymore because he's got the operator instead. And look at where he is already, by the way. First 20 seconds of the round, Yuiko has already pushed all the way up on C.
Holding that wide angle with an op. But he won't have a chance to use it, at least not on that side of the map. Presence for B, the split is on. Aya just about evading those shots. Falling back, but nobody's here to contest. Yet again, a free plant to be found by T1. So good at finding that space. And the Viper's Pit used to lock it down afterwards. Those shots were close, but Aya will not find it. So we're set up in a difficult position. This Killjoy ult is causing problems, but Zeta somehow picked up a double. What an absolute disaster. One player detained. Look at that repositioning as well. Carpe dodged the showstopper. Zeta's back online inside the Viper's Pit. A third kill for T1. Carpe following, and Munchkin
tried to start pushing in that little bit earlier, And because of that, I think he just basically just banked it onto them. It's so
like,
perfectly
it's too late. Oh, what a disaster.
Well, from the pistol round victory to get them through to 9 to a streak of rounds now for T1. Arlin's not going to be connecting the shots. In fact, it's a double for Ban. Munchkin with another. This round is already looking squeaky clean. Unless Nichao has something to say about it, and he does not. Last man standing, Aya with a couple of pieces of utility, but no weaponry.
No, has the classic. Doesn't even have the light shields with the classic.
Nah, Sean's going to be sad.
Shocked. Well, this one is going his way. All right, well, you know what? Maybe he should have had heavy shields.
Yeah.
It's a lot prettier right now. He's got the one kill. That should be where this ends. One away from Thrash as well, so ult is going to be online.
There's absolutely no way you're chanting ace.
Ace, ace,
You guys,
ace.
What? Okay, we're getting there.
Maybe we better start believing
three
in
more
this.
to go. 3 more now. Okay. Plays, you name it. They've had it all. And for FPX, bear in mind, a big lead on their own map choice. Bind, I'm not confident in. They need to find something here.
There. You should run.
Oh, wow. Okay, lockdown's going to be used to take over control of C site. 4 players here, but just take a look at the position of Zeta, not lurking on A. Viper walls on C. This is going to be a much more direct round, one in which they don't intend to fall back, use secondary options. The plant is in, already found, and they're giving up all this space. Thrash won't be able to reach them. It can be recovered at least. Not in a great position, though, using it mostly for the information. That's not going to be back up and online. Showstopper used.
Oh, wow.
Now Saya. Well, we don't need to talk about that one. Ban's picked up U-Call. Defuse being tapped. They're not sure. Someone could be on it right now. They need to swing and check. Maybe someone spotted it just around the edge of that wall. Saya, good for one. Lysor down. Nichao up close. Got his double, but they're trading it right back. And T1.
The reckoning was to try and force them back. I think even Thrash, they were maybe expecting somebody to still lurk around within the site, but didn't find anything. And I have to say, Zeta in these post-bloods are now having that in the late round, leading by example, it has to be said. I believe it's been a switch-up for this matchup for him to go back onto the Viper, and honestly, it's been an incredible choice.
Start of round, Viper's Pit, orb for A. Oh, look at those pings coming through. T1 thinking about still committing to the A side, but bypassing this utility, bypassing the pit.
But the thing is, there's not really that safe a spot to stand in the pit.
Yeah.
Like, you're either on the cross with your back, or you're right on the edge. Like, I feel like this is an incredibly dangerous pit to try and sit in, and huge reliance on Lysor to try and hold this one out. A lot of utility being put into delay, but they're not expecting that this is a full committal just yet.
They still have that Viper orb. If things do get a little bit scary, it's probably going to go up with the 40-second, 30-second mark once this wall goes down. There you go. It's up, but it's a little bit too late. They're already through. Now the Viper having to fight, and Nichao is down. Viper's Pit out of the round, and FPX still massively behind after all of that has been taken out of their hands. They only get 1 kill for their trouble. Very little damage, no control on the way back through. The one thing is, they did just hear that jump. Aya is fully aware that Munchkin is around that corner on his right, and he's going to seek him out, but his teammates are on the side already. So even though he gets that kill, there's just nothing to say about it. The 125 HP, sure, he's looking healthy, but there's 2 players lined up in a firing one to close out this map. And Bind, as you said, Tom, their map pick is up next.
Yeah, and one that, again, they play quite a regimented composition. I believe that they actually use the Gecko themselves.
So you look at it and go, 3 rounds, this is not too much, but they've got to turn this right around. And even the ones they have won on their defense, pistol and follow-up. That ain't repeatable. You ain't getting another one of those till the next map.
Well, do you remember when Saya was having a bad game? Or a quiet game, I should say.
Not even that long ago.
Yeah, it feels like a lifetime now because he's been in a great spot, an aggressive, it's a dry peek out. Okay, they've cleared Munchkin at least. No utility to support it, but maybe that surprise factor, it at least locks down some of that control on one side of the map, something that T1 might have to think about going back for. And in fact, the second they take that fight, the defenders immediately rotate away, just saying, okay, they're not going to challenge for this again. Oh, guess what? They are.
Triple stack up on A. 45 seconds, no contact, but no one should be getting contact till they burst into the site. You stick with 3 players on A. And in fact, UCall goes more passive. It's the right call. Yeah. He would just get sectioned off and eliminated in a 1vx fight. Instead, he has to try to harass them on the way through and wait for his teammates to come in. They have a lot of utility for the way back in. That nade is going to go through. Zeta already gone. The nade's a little late, so it's not going to catch a kill, but that might have given them a chance.
Yeah, Zeta has been the post-plant king, so getting rid of him with a spam and him almost sacrificing himself to it is going to help them out massively. 4 players looking to try and go back through on that retake. Lysor doing well. In fact, no trades to be had is left on to Sire. He's been fantastic.
It's nice to see. Maybe they finally found the solution, the push and pull on the map, working for them. More passive stance.
He walks into it spraying. Like, I like the confidence from Zeta, but that's mind-numbing. Now just down to 2. Overtime still very much possible. And again, they're going for the same sort of setup they had in the last round. Now, bear in mind, T1, they're expecting a repeat. They have got a multitude of players waiting for this level of aggression, a tap onto the orb, and this is where they try and execute instead. They've actually thrown the nade, almost blocking off their own corner. Again, another blip for FPX, a mistake, and almost too easy an opener on the other side. They're going to try and actually push off the back of this. Sire player gets the kill with his nade instead of the gun. And now Berlin, this started off as a set play for the side of FPX. It's cut off his own angle. This is going horribly wrong.
Oh, no! Right onto the nano. He's 7 HP. Oh, yeah, good luck with that. Zeta's just shutting him down, and well, that seems to be the final nail in the coffin for the FPX side. Ni Zhao, you better start that ace chant if you want another round, because FPX need one right now, and it's only the 1 kill to be found. T1